Game of Thrones ended, and I am not feeling good right now. Actually, a lot of people aren't feeling good. There's somebody here in Seattle. We are in Washington State, so this is in our neighborhood. Game of Thrones fan raises money to fly banner over Seattle asking for a season rewrite. There are petitions that are going around right now trying to get a change to happen. How did you feel, Aaron, with the series ending the way it did?
Annoyed, disappointed. It felt rushed, and I was ready for it to be good. I was ready to accept the loss of one of my favorite shows, and it really was a loss.
Big loss. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I was hoping to just move on in a positive way from this show and just get something that I've wanted for so long, and I don't feel we got that. I know I didn't get it. So, like Aaron, I'm also disappointed with it and just feel like there's so much more they could have done, and it's done in so much of a better fashion.
Let's see what Peter Dinklage had to say about the ending of this series.
How do you feel about the way that it ends?
There are no better writers in television than Dan Weiss and David Benioff. They ended it brilliantly, better than I could have imagined, and you people are in for it.
I gotta tell you, this is why I love this guy.
Why?
This is why we all love him, because he's an amazing actor.
Oh, for real, huh? It's true.
He puts himself out there.
Oh, my goodness.
He's convincing.
Okay, so the cast is disappointed. There's a lot of people disappointed. There's a lot of things that went wrong. And in the 8 seasons, I think I've been able to dwindle it down to like 3 main points. One, I think it's the White Walkers and how that whole arc ended, rather just didn't even really have a climax at all. The second would be the heel turn of Daenerys. And the third, the winner of Game of Thrones, I would say, right?
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Yeah, winner. It's kind of a loose way to use that word.
Well, let's take a look at what our favorite Mother of Dragons until about this time last week, had to say about the Game of Thrones series finale.
Have you shot your final scenes yet? And are you happy with how things ended?
Yeah.
She didn't say yes. You didn't say yes.
Best season ever. It's the best.
It's the best season. So I imagine that she has to say something nice, but at the same time, she could be kind of joking around about the fact that her character is going to be a villain by the end of this and commit genocide and kill more people than anyone else in the entire series. But I think there may be some truth to this reaction. What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen her in other videos. She's a very jolly interviewee, if you will. Just always has a good time and laugh. So I get that, but boy, you feel it. I really think they all seem like everything's got to be really tongue-in-cheek. You got to be careful just how you phrase how poor this really was, yet still be supportive. I'm not buying it. How
did you feel about the heel turn?
I think really similarly to how everyone feels. It's like, I'm okay with her being a total psycho. I needed more buy-in.
Okay.
Like, I needed to see her deteriorate, not just see her best friend get beheaded. Like, I get that that's enough to make someone maybe depressed, but maybe kill everyone. It's just so inconsistent with her character.
Killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people were disappointed this last week. I think of all the people who named their pets like Dany and Daenerys and all the kids who cosplay as this character. It's pretty rough. A lot of people were super let down, but I think if it was done in a more appropriate way, over time, a descent into madness would have been a really interesting take on the human psyche rather than it just being it's in your blood kind of attitude, which is so lame. And I think she knows this. I think Emilia Clarke knows this. And she was even mentioning in some interviews that she's done over this last 24 hours that although she didn't mind the heel turn, I mean, this is what it asked for. I mean, it's kind of what a lot of people expected a little bit. She just wanted there to be more conversations between the cast, more things happening, more than just her walking up to the Iron Throne and getting killed.
Yeah, that whole episode of her just destroying an entire city was just a waste of time because you didn't need all episode to show that. I mean, you saw her face. She's pissed. That's it. I'm taking it all out. What we really wanted to see is more development of characters that we have been invested in all season. Not just see everyone get lit up in fire and just disappear in little side stories for moments, and just not get the satisfaction we need from Cersei coming head to head with somebody other than just being crumbled upon with her brother in a freaking basement.
It's like multiple character arcs ended in terrible ways at the same time. It was not just one blow. It was just multiple blows. It was a total knockout. No one's happy.
Yeah, clearly lazy. And I don't think anyone is trying to say like, oh, we want so much fan service. Like, this wasn't the fan service season. If anything, Joffrey's story arc was the fan service season.
I missed that story arc. How great of a story arc was that?
Yeah, I mean, and think of like just the Hodor story arc. Like that type of creative, I mean, I guess that was probably a little bit of George, but regardless, it's like they delved into it and they stopped. They just got lazy.
They were trying to wrap it up. It would take a couple of episodes to meet that critique, to get people to buy into this ending the way it did. And the winner of Game of Thrones. So what's your feeling? Because let's see what Kit Harington has to say about it. This was the clear fan pick if it wasn't going to be Khaleesi, which I think was a given. I think that's what people expected. And we know that George wouldn't allow that to happen. So this is what Kit had to say.
I couldn't let you go without asking you a little question about Game of Thrones. Sure. If you could describe the season finale of Game of Thrones in one word, how would you describe that?
Disappointing, 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 disappointing.
Disappointing?
No, epic. I don't know.
I don't know. What phrase can you just come up with? Epic. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I meant epic.
What did you think? What did you think about the winner of Game of Thrones? It didn't even feel like a winning, like anyone won. The throne got melted.
Yeah, the throne got melted, which was actually kind of a cool scene. The dragon realized that the main reason they're all fighting is over this throne, and he destroys this throne.
Is he going to talk too? How sentient are these dragons?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
They're smart, though.
They're smart, but like he was able to that symbolizes the reason why my mother was killed. Like, I don't buy it. Like, what?
It's a stretch, and it has to be explained, and that's the problem. We're having to go back and understand and explain and decipher and give it some type of value of why it's good or not good. I just don't like it. I don't need that.
This isn't how you should feel at the end of the series, Jeff. Aaron, how did you feel about the winner of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I don't know. Could have been literally anyone else, and it would have been better. Could have been Sansa. Like, I didn't even want it to be Sansa. It could have been, it's like you can literally plug any other character in, and it would have made more sense.
I just felt like he was too above everybody. They built this character to be this, like, he's not a normal person, and to say, oh, he'd be a perfect king. He has a great story.
What was the point of making him the three-eyed raven?
I guess for this moment, for him to be the perfect king?
He's not the perfect king because he's the three-eyed raven. It makes him like an unfit king. And it's like, why go through all of that stuff to make him the three-eyed raven, to have him... Because he's so fucking weird. He's so weird.
He's too weird. That's also as a king. That's something we learned from Dany. Really, this whole thing, there's a lot more to ruling than violence. You have to be likable. The people have to love you. We had Cersei who thought her people would fight. This whole time she's like, well, send the next people. They're going to keep fighting for me. That's all important in the Game of Thrones. And by the end of this series, Star Wars was in the view, and they're like, we can go cosmic. Let's just go cosmic. Avengers is cosmic. That's money is in cosmic. So, unfortunately, we're going to be left disappointed.
Yeah, I can't stand that brand character. Yeah. I don't like where they went with it. It's frustrating as heck. To have him be the king at the end is just another spit in my face for the finale of this show. I'm telling you, I was so frustrated. I was like, please don't do it. Please don't. Better not be. It's not right. Don't. Bran. Like, I wish he got White Walkered a long time ago.
I saw a meme of Soulja Boy. You know how in the Breakfast Club interview he was like, Drake. He's like, Bran. Like, he just couldn't believe what they were saying. It's like, Bran, what? Yeah. But you know what? I think that's what a lot of people feel like.
Yeah, and that whole fight scene, I think that was the next thing we were gonna try and talk about, is that the White Walker story arc just didn't make sense that they would spend all of that time building that up to have it be such a pointless battle.
I agree.
I keep just doing the deep breaths because it's the only way that I keep my sanity right now, but it's like they have failed their fan base on the fight scenes since the beginning. And I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but not in here, but when we were chatting about it, that it's like my baseline for a good fight scene is Helm's Deep of Lord of the Rings. So it's like if you can't even get like 30% there, and like you didn't do a fight scene, you didn't do a battle, you didn't do anything important. And every single time this show fails me on fight scenes.
Should have been memorable. It should have at least been memorable, and they failed. There are people paying to have petitions go out. They want it to be redone. They want it redone with new writers, bring the actors and actresses back. Let's do it again. I think at this point, what we can hope for is more comic book adaptations, maybe a prequel that could be better, but it's probably not going to be. And especially after what happened here, I would be worried if I was part of that production. Maybe an anime. Anime would be so cool. A huge, like, epic Game of Thrones anime, like going all out, like straight up from the book. Aaron's not into it, but I am. But I want to hear what the community thinks. Hit the description down below. We want to know your thoughts on it. Comment. Let us know your thoughts on how Game of Thrones ended. Are you as disappointed as we are? We do appreciate you, comic book community. And as always,
Geek responsibly.
Geek responsibly to everyone but the writers on Game of Thrones.
ooh,
Direct responsibly.
direct responsibly. Enough said. Wow, we have grown so much this month. I want to give a big welcome to all the new members of the channel. Thank you so much for taking the time to subscribe and to give us an opportunity to entertain you. If you look at this video over here, my best friend and I, Fire Guy Ryan, go over the alternative ending of Avengers Endgame. And this video over here is the story about how the Golden Age guru, Jeff, acquired a Hulk #1 and a Journey into Mystery 83, the first appearance of Thor. You definitely don't want to miss out on that one.